Show. That's Lala Turner.
Not really wasting the...
That is Charlie Cannon. This is WMX on a Friday. Now, I've watched Turner ride at Club MX. She's fast. And Cannon there is riding, I think, now 10 days out of surgery on a broken finger. This is really cool. The combine will be coming up in a moment, but I just want to get some shots of WMX in on the Weege Show, brought to you by the Honda CRF 250R and CRF 450R. Packed house and looking good at the first race. You might be aware that Jet Lawrence won and Hunter Lawrence is on the podium. And Joe Shimoda and Chance Hymas had their moments. Looking good. I'm going to stall here for just a second because on our best post-race show, we have our buddy Sophie Phelps on, and I'm waiting for her to come around. WMX on a Friday, I think it's perfect. There's Phelps. There you go. You go, girl. Watch her hosting our first look show by 6D later tonight on this very YouTube channel. Anyway, we're going to get to press day and talk to some riders, and thanks to Honda for backing those shows. And I think, honestly, in the 250 class, that might be the X factor right now, because we've all learned that Deegan is Deegan. Deegan's going to be just as good, if not better, this year than he was last year. Who are the two most likely candidates probably coming out of that race to put pressure on him this year? I would think you'd have to say it was Shimoda, just based on the results. Shimoda was literally there putting pressure on in a lot of the motos, and Hymas showed the Hymas speed from last year is there. We'll see if they get it sorted. But as of now, they look like maybe the biggest threats. Juju Beaumer, who I thought liked that track because he rides there a lot, had a lot of comments about how much he hates that track, so maybe he'll be better here. He was up there all weekend, and kind of waiting on some of the pro circuit guys to catch fire. Terrible weekend for Levi Kitchen, so-so for Seth Hamaker, and more. Let's get to press day and talk to some riders. Oh, here we go. Help me out. I leaned back again.
Yes, you did.
Thank you. So, when you're a big-time TV guy, you get help with making sure the back of your black shirt isn't dirty from sitting in a chair inside a tent. I have help with that. What I didn't have is help with the audio. I'm very upset because I decided to step up the game. Yeah, Luke Bowser. Yeah, it is time for Combine now. After that first WMX moto, it is also press day riding taking place on the track. There was a half-hour media session under there, of which I recorded the whole thing. But for your sake at home, I stepped up and tried to use a microphone for the first time in the Weege Show because it's so loud underneath that tent, and the audio didn't work at all. So there goes a half hour of interviews that I could have showed you. So allow me to now paraphrase everything that I learned. And I'm walking this way to try to get to the track, and then I saw, not on the press day list, but sneakily studying. They probably rode up the hill. Justin Cooper and Cooper Webb were in a golf cart. Oh yeah, if they went that way, I'm not going to catch them. I'm going to go back to the track the other direction. I'm really bummed about losing this audio. That's what I get for trying to improve the technology of the show. Be right back. So we're going to do the walk and talk right by staging area of SMX Next. What's up, Landon Gordon? It's a sweet cooling vest. Wow, they've come a long way. So SMX Next is going to have their moto in a moment. Woo! I guess Aaron Plessinger had enough riding. Speaking of Aaron Plessinger, I did speak to him about the Dale Jr. download show, which he was just on with Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm super bummed because Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s race shop where he shoots the show is like 5 minutes from my house. And I've always tried to figure out how could I sneak my way in and become a big dog, like hang out with the important people in NASCAR. How could I sneak my way in? And that would have been my chance. And I knew that Plessinger was going to do the show. I just didn't know when. I needed to hit him up and say, when you go there, I will meet you, and then get me in, and then I'll be a big dog too. Aaron said he was so nervous doing the show that he didn't have his best interview, didn't have his best performance. He said there were times when he was talking to Dale Jr. that he forgot that he was not watching the show, that he was actually on the show. So he said he was so nervous. He shook his hand. It was like meeting a superhero, and the guy was super cool, and he did everything he could to make him relax. And man, he was nervous. A real guy, that Aaron Hampshire and Plessinger, a real guy. God, Zeke sent it. Jeez, oh man. There's Malcolm Stewart. I did talk to him. He had a good time at the race. He's always smiling, always laughing, which is wild because somehow his story actually ended with him crashing and not finishing the second moto. But he was still laughing about it when he told me this story. He figured he was going to get a lot of heat from his teammate RJ Hampshire for being back in the truck early and not finishing the second moto. He crashed, the bike was on him, rear wheel spinning, and Mookie said the most important thing is to not get his hair caught in the rear wheel, which he was able to avoid that. Then he went back to the truck. Then he found out later that RJ crashed apparently in the same spot 1 lap later. Malcolm kind of wishes he was still out there so he could have witnessed that. As for RJ, I actually hosted an event for Honda on Wednesday morning, talking to some of their dealer reps, and somebody asked me, who are some of the best interviews in the sport right now? And I actually identified RJ as one of the best. We all know RJ always has something going on, and that helps, but he also articulates it and tells the story very well, and I appreciate that. To which RJ said, well, yeah, thank you for that, but I really wish I didn't have all this stuff going on. Then I asked him the most important question. We know RJ rides harder and more aggressively than everyone. Will a 450 mean more or less of that? If that was a quad, Deegan would have quadded that. I'll talk about Jeremy Martin in a moment, but RJ said he definitely feels like he's riding more in control of the 450. He said the 250 you're so wide open and you're so trying to get every inch that you can't even look around to find different lines. On the 450 he found himself actually having a chance to think while he was riding, and he hopes as he gets better at that he can even start identifying bumps he can hop over like the Lawrence brothers do. But he's never really felt like he had time to think on a 250 because you're so wide open and you're so trying to get everything perfect. The 450, you're able to think your way around the track. So he thinks he will be more in control and a little less wide open than he was on the 250. As for Jeremy Martin, who you just saw right there, look, when I was watching the timing and scoring monitor while announcing the race last week, and I was really afraid that was going to be the end. He was in like 21st place. And I'm like, uh-oh, it's just not there. But he said he actually had fun. He realized that he's not bringing the form. He's pretty fast during the week, J-Mart. He did not ride like that in the race, and he's going to get better, he thinks. So he's not giving up on it. He was still smiling. He said actually the hardest part was he did 17 rounds of Supercross hosting the VIP program for Star Racing, and he thought, the last thing I want to do is get on a plane with an 18 time. I want to go back to Millville and Spring Creek and help my parents run the track. But now he's locked in, and he's going to be doing a lot more travel. Just because last week wasn't great. J-Mart still think there's more. Who else did I talk to? Casey Cochran. Felt he rode better in Moto 2, just getting a moto under his belt, just getting some racing under his belt. That really helped him. Coty Schock got 15th in Moto 1. Said Moto, there's Schock. Oh, thank you, Coty. Crashed in Moto 2. He said, look, he knows that he was like top 5 guy at times the last time he rode 450 outdoors. But he's like, you got to look at the field I was racing then compared to now. You just got to be realistic. To get a 5th at Hangtown, when you think about who he'd have to beat, he's being more realistic. He does feel he's a better rider than he was 4 years ago, but it's going to take a while for it to come to him. And everyone mentioning that the confidence killer is having Alex Fedortsov on the team, Club MX, because he puts it to everyone during the week. And I talked to Alex, and he said, yeah, he was just trying to learn and was not riding as well at Fox Raceway as he was during the week. That's kind of the story of so many guys who are flying in the test track. Can they actually fly at the racetrack this weekend? So now guys summed up all the interviews that I got since I don't have the actual audio. All right, this is Mike Emery of Align, our shooters for Racer X. Did he get the Coty Schock whip? Of course he did.
I remember coming out of a screen. I thought
Who knows? I think the screen just went blank. Great job as always. All the photos on Racer X, all because of Mike and Adam. They do an unbelievable job of somehow always being in the right place at the right time. Because now look, Mike walks away, Shock dead sailors that jump. He just knows it, man. He just senses it. Look at J Marco. Look at J Marco. One other rider I want to give a shout out to is Tom Vial, because I did say, there's Tom. I did say at the top of this show that you really got to look at the two Honda riders, Shimoda and Hyman, showing signs that maybe they're the ones that can pressure Deegan. I think I only said that because Vial is just like the most known commodity out there. There's no mystery with Vial. You know how good he's going to be every week. You know he'll be consistent every week. So, well, except for the point when he's riding off the side of the track. But otherwise, you know what you're getting out of Vial. He had a podium. I don't think that surprises anyone. So I just want to make sure I give credit where it's due for the number 16. And one other guy to watch this weekend is the Beta, Liquid Moly Beta team is back this weekend. Beta Benny Bloss will be racing. Now, Benny was always, I feel, better outdoors than in Supercross throughout his career. So he can be one to watch. They're only going to do 3 rounds to try to get SMX points. They didn't race last weekend because they were just trying to get back. The team has not raced outdoors ever. They did not race outdoors last year. That was the first year for Beta. So they wanted 2 weeks after Supercross to get in a little more testing. Oh, a couple of Betas out here. That's not even Benny. All right. Anyway, good to have Benny. He's going to race here, Colorado, and High Point. Again, for SMX points. Mitchell Oleberg can't be here because he hurt his hip and pelvis. He posted a hilarious story on his own Instagram, did Mitch, to explain how that all went down. So that's it for the Weege Show. I hope you don't mind the paraphrased version of talking to guys at press day. And I'm going to go over here and just give you a little look at the SMX next racers about to go out. But I got to get to meetings and edit the show that I thought would already be done if my original audio had worked. Question 1, several titles, and just couldn't get the job done. They're ready. See you tomorrow.